Simon Lizotte, statistically likely your favorite pro, recently made a change to his bag for the 2025 season, which was the Volt for the Tesla. And I'm going to let him tell you in his own words. Simon is a very feel-based, vibes-based player, not necessarily like deeply reviewing and analyzing the discs. But I'm a super nerd. So I want to see if I can find enough of a difference to kick the Tesla out of his bag and add the Volt in by reviewing them today and throwing them a lot and giving you my takes on the same plastics, because I think his used to be a Proton Tesla, and now he has a Proton Volt. But this is what he had to say.
Then new to the bag this season is the Proton Volt. This is the Tesla replacement. I wish I could actually really explain why I switched from the Tesla to the Volt, but I just kind of wanted to switch it up, just to try some new stuff. And I remember when I first switched to MVP, I really initially liked the Volt, but then a Tesla took its place. So this season, I'm doing the Volt to try, and I've really been liking it so far. This has been pretty consistent, pretty overstable, and I use it for straight 350 to 400 foot shots, and I think this is my main fairway driver right now.
So we're going to see if I can find a reason that that's his new main fairway driver, but you know what's my main disc golf shoe? You know where this is going. Welcome to Vessi Labs, where we have to talk about the sponsor of today's video, Vessi, makers of my favorite shoes for disc golf, not only for the great grip, the multiple styles like the Stormburst high top and the Stormburst low top, but also the fact that these shoes are 100% waterproof, which we're going to be putting to the test today. You'd think that a shoe that is knit, for one, couldn't be waterproof, but they are. You'd also think that a 100% waterproof shoe would get way too hot in the summertime, which kind of surprisingly it does not. Oh, this did not. As you can tell, this is the first time here at Vessi Labs. We're not really doing the best job. The water's beating right off of the high tops. So much so that our paper towel is still completely dry. Let's shove it in my personal favorites, the low tops. This is a slightly lower sock. Oh shoot, this paper towel got more wet. I'm glad that we had the one in the Vessis, because I didn't think about that and this one got really wet. Plenty of waterproofness. I have been wearing these black ones all over the place, as you've seen on my channel, where I pour them all over the shoe. Just obviously can't get it inside the top of the shoe. But all the way up to the top of that collar is going to be waterproof, a little bit dribbled over the top of the shoe right there, but everything underneath, inside, still completely bone dry. If you're looking to get your own pair of Vessis waterproof shoes for disc golf, the shoes that I wear on tour, as well as world champions like Isaac Robinson, go to vessi.com/bodanza and get 15% off your first order of Vessis. But feel free to browse as well, because they also have other styles of shoes on the site. Thank you, Vessi, for sponsoring this video. We'll likely see you back here at Vessi Labs at some point, but for now, no, I'm not gonna drink that. That'd be insane. Back to the video. So, 10 holes. We're going to do the front 9 as well as hole 18 because it's a 500-foot par 4. And I want to see if I can eagle it with either of these, maybe with a really long putt. And we'll have everything from 500-foot par 4s to 250-foot par 3s to get a lot of different shots with both of these. And we're going to do a CTP battle with score as the tiebreaker. So I'll still putt from them just in case they end up tying. Not that my score or my round means anything. That being said, hole 1, 317, straight ahead. Adams Hollow looks like they freshly mowed. A little bit of right to left wind, so we'll start out with a quick forehand. Tesla first. Pretty clean. I do think the Volt feels better on the backhand, Tesla feels better on the forehand, which also kind of makes sense because I think typically 9-speed and up, I think of forehand, and then 8-speed and 7-speed, I think of his backhand discs. But I saw him forehand the Crave in his in the bag videos, so we'll see if the Volt can still forehand well. Yes, it can. Maybe even better than the Tesla. Oh, dang. Those were cooking. I've had that Volt sitting on the shelf for a long time in my I want to review it pile, because I'm trying to work through a lot of MVP's fairway drivers, just MVP discs in general. And so I remembered that Simon had changed the Volt for his old Tesla. Personally, I haven't bagged like a 7 or 8 speed in the last couple of years. And I don't know if that's because I don't think they go quite as far, or maybe they don't like swing as much right to left in the air. But the more I've played with pros and kind of seen their bags, they seem to kind of treat them interchangeably. They don't think about discs the same way that I do, as someone who's always reviewing and thinking about speeds and all these technical specifications. They just kind of are like, this disc works, I'm gonna throw it. And they seem to interchange 7, 8 speeds, and 9 and 10 speeds. Much more than I would have expected as a disc reviewer as well as a player versus just a pro. These are pretty solid. This is my first shot straight out of the car. I wasn't expecting them to be this good. Let's hope the putt stays good too. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. The putt does not stay good. There we go. I will say, the Volt has it. It might have gone a little long if it didn't hit this tree, and it forehanded better than I expected. The Volt feels pretty good. I do hope score doesn't come into a factor because I got a couple warm-ups in before the Volt putt. I don't think I've airballed a putt that badly from that close in a very long time. So it's an exciting day when you don't know what the disc is going to do out of your hand. That being said, hole 2, 517 foot, par 4. This one, maybe we can try to give a little flick in for eagle, but we're going to be throwing a nice big backhand. We're going to be throwing pretty much into a headwind because we're in a right to left on hole 1. The Tesla, it's supposed to be like 9.5 -1.2 are the numbers, and the Volt is 8.502. And if you're wanting to go from a straight 9 speed like this to a straight 8 speed, if you throw as far as Simon, you'll probably reach for something like a Volt because it's 8.502, which for most people is going to be pretty overstable. Simon obviously throws ridiculously far. But if you have a 9 speed and it's a -1.2 disc, if you look for like a 0.2 or a -0.52 as a 7 or 8 speed, it might be closer to the same stability because any flippier, this is a -0.52. Any flippier than this, it's probably going to hold turn too long, whereas you want something to finish more. Hopefully both of these birdie, maybe one of them will eagle. I'm going to try, even though it's a headwind, to get them a good amount of height and just kind of turn them on a lot of anhyzer and see how they fly. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's where a lot of my drives land, honestly, with my drivers. Tesla, I think, will go a little farther, but maybe that's wrong. Those are probably within 20 feet of each other, and they had a very similar flight. When I've heard Volt before, I don't know if it's because I learned that the Volt and the Terra were a thing at the same time, but I thought the Volt was this crazy overstable 8-speed. But that's what the Terra is. It's like a slower Firebird in MVP's lineup. If I'm being honest, so far, if you had to give me one of those two and tell me to bag it, I'm taking the Volt all day long. Flies very similar to the Tesla, but the hand feel, even on that forehand, wasn't as bad as I expected with how well it kind of flew out of my hand. It's got good stability, and the backhand feels much more comfortable for me. I wouldn't have thought these were as similar as they are before I came and did this. Well. Tesla is a little closer to the T-pad. It's not as far. The Volts, I think I did get nose down a little more, and because I'm a smaller guy, I have smaller hands, the slower the disc, the easier it is for me to control the nose angle for drivers. And especially this Tesla, which has a little higher wing, it's a little flatter. I've noticed I feel more confident hitting my angle with the Terra than the Tesla. Come on. Oh. Not even close to right enough. 295 feet up on the mound. Similar wind to hole number 1, which is kind of a tail. Little right to left, but mostly tail. Volt still has the box. Not crazy uncomfortable on a forehand. It does feel big for an 8-speed. I've noticed MVP sometimes their speeds compared to other brands seem to be a little thicker rimmed. Like the Trail is kind of, to me, like a 10.5 speed, almost an 11 speed. The Tesla is similar to a PD in terms of the rim. So the 10-speed rim, maybe the other companies are off, maybe MVP's off, maybe flight numbers don't matter too much, but we still got to put stock into them because all the manufacturers put them on all the discs. So we'll check another forehand here. Basically just aim at the tree flat. Let it spike in. Big drop off right. That's a little too inside. Sit down. That's down the big drop off right. Miss my aim point. Adjust the body. There it is. Oh! Oh, that hit right next to the basket and rolled down the hill. I did definitely feel like I didn't have to change how I threw the Tesla after throwing the Terra. These are much more 1-for-1 discs than I thought, which is interesting because the flight numbers are different, but it might just be that the shape is different, so the feel is different, and the flight is pretty similar. Just which one feels better to you, which I think is what a lot of disc golf is. Bad news for the Tesla. It hit right here, but the Volt is closer, I think. And this hole, you really need to hit at the hillside, not on top of it. Oh, Tesla's back here. Yeah, the Terra is still closer, or the Volt. And if I miss this, I'm hitting the tripod, which is already precarious. No, oh my gosh. I shanked it. It went between the tripod legs. If you could see how you guys are on the tripod right now, if I hit one of those legs, the camera is gone. Okay, 3 CTPs, up 3-0, in the scoring. Right over your head, you didn't even see it coming. All right, hole 4 is 427 to the basket, way down there. We do have a right to left, kind of helping wind. This will be similar to the shot that I threw on hole 2, except more driven. Those ones I try to really sky them, and I think the Tesla should outdrive the Volt. Skip. I didn't see it skip at all. It did rain and hail earlier today, so there's big puddles all over. Hopefully that didn't hit one. I think that same shot with this is pretty money. And I fought out of it really good against the wind. Yeah. Oh, is the Tesla straighter than the Volt? I didn't see that one skip either. Maybe it landed in the exact same spot. That one seemed to want to stay on turn a little longer, but it did fight out of it pretty well as well. I think they'll both have long looks. But once again, almost the same flights. Well, they're within 6 feet of each other again. Didn't land in a puddle, but if they would have, it's okay. I got my Vessies. And the Volt got it again. Normally, whichever disc goes first has a disadvantage in these challenges, but the Volts keep pulling it away. Let's go, baby. Nope, too low. Tesla clawing it back, 1-3. It might not matter though, because if the Volt gets one more CTP, it's basically done. Hole 5 is a very similar distance to the last hole. I think it's only about 5 feet different. And I know not everyone out there is throwing their 8 and 9 speeds 430-ish feet. So we're gonna make a new tee pad here, which is 290 feet away, and see kind of how they fly, still on backhands, but having to kind of force over an anhyzer and let it just get to flat by the basket. Okay. So probably threw about 315 there, stayed on turn for most of it, and then got out of it. I think that'll be very similar to what this Volt will do. It's an 8-speed, so maybe it'll want to hold turn a little longer, but I don't think so, especially based on the last throw. Okay, a little higher, so more time for it to fight out. But just looking at the flights, the Volt seems to want to fight more than the Tesla does. The Tesla seems to want to turn a touch more than the Volt. But once again, very, very similar. They're right in line again, just Tesla's closer now. A little headwind. Oh, I thought it was good for half of it, and then I was like, that's too low. Tesla can crawl back to 2. There we go. I'm trying to find the difference. The only thing I can think is like the Tesla swings a little more, seems to turn a little harder and fade a little harder, which for someone who throws as far as Simon or as hard as him, you might want something that's a little slower so that it doesn't do that as much, because at his speeds, if it turns a little more, that a little turns into a lot. Hole 6, 243, little tail right to left. Wouldn't be something to do with Simon in the video if we didn't try to ace it. A little too right. Move my aim point a little in with the Volt. Oh, I didn't move it in at all. So they're the same. Yeah, basically the same, except the Volt was biting a little harder. I should never say that I'm going for an ace in one of these videos. It never turns out well for me. But the day that it does, it's gonna look so cool. They're on top of each other again. To be fair, the Tesla is ever so slightly closer. So it's 2 CTPs back now, 2 to 4. No, too low. Weird stance. All right, both pars. Hole 7 is 323, just behind that last tree. I'm not gonna let myself just throw a hyzer. I feel like I've done, actually I don't think I've done a spike hyzer with these yet. I kind of did last hole, but it meant to be more of like a flat hyzer. We'll throw a spike hyzer with them. It's the worst shot of the day. By a country mile. It's the right distance, but lined up so wrong. Good skip in. No skips today, no skips. Good shot though. The Volt is 1 CTP away from winning the CTP battle. Shout out to Tesla. Shout out my Vessies for keeping me dry. Oh, never enough. There it is. So close. But nice and dry. Boop, 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 boop. A wet Tesla and a winning Volt. What is that? Volt's missed 2 so far? Not bad. 2 normal holes to play, and then I'll see if I can get the eagle with either of these bad boys. Finish out the video. To be honest, I expected to find way more differences than I have. The feel, a little. The amount that the Tesla wants to hold turn versus not. Maybe if they're different plastics, but then each of them would be different plastics. So if you have 2 Proton ones, I'm sure they'll fly similar, just maybe different than the Neutron ones I have. I definitely came into this expecting to be like, okay, on top of just the novelty, here's the reason Simon wanted to change, or maybe a potential subconscious reason. I can't even find one except that maybe the Volt is a little friendlier to not rip over on you if you have an insane amount of power, but I can't test that because I only have like pretty good power, not an insane amount of power. That said, we'll finish out backhand on this hole, forehand on the next, and then eagle time. Touch long, but pretty solid. I do like the stability on that disc. It's like it glides well on it. It doesn't dump crazy, but I can trust it. Try to replicate with the Tesla. Oh. Volt has won the CTP battle, I think, as most people saw coming after the first few holes. Huh. You know, it's a beatdown on the bag zone. 290, forehand. Correct off my mistake that I made on hole 3, where I aimed straight at the basket and threw it flat to hyzer. Gotta aim left. Trusted this to do the work. Go in. Dude, that thing rips. On a hyzer, past 290 feet with an 8-speed is pretty good for me. Wow. Holy cow. Go in. Oh, a little too straight. Better shot though. Right next to the basket. Maybe rolled down the hill. I think I see the carp spawning down here right now. Ooh, there's something out there that just jumped. I'm gonna have to bring a fishing pole out here one video. See if I can't catch something in the middle of the round. I've been catching a lot of trout at another lake close to here recently. Smoking them up. It's probably just carp though. They're spawning right now. All right, back to disc golf. No chance. Right, great line though. When my back foot is like higher than my front foot, I can't putt. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Time to get an eagle. Sun will be definitely more down than this. One shot at all the glory. Volt, Tesla, Volt already wins in my book, but if it can get closer for an eagle or even get an eagle, definite W. This one's just CTP, because I'm definitely not filming another video right now that you already saw a few days ago. Shout out Vessi, vessi.com/Bodanza to snag your pair of waterproof shoes that are perfect for disc golf, my favorite disc golf shoes. Let's make an eagle. I threw it flat. I flew a good ways, but the Tesla might have this one in the bag if I can just not throw the worst shot ever. There it is. It's too low to get the good eagle look, but that's closer than the Volt, and it's up there, and I'm disappointed. But I can see why Simon chose the Volt over the Tesla. But both are good options. If you can, get them in hand, feel them. If you don't want to, snag them at infinitedisc.com. I like the Volt, I like the Tesla, but I definitely like the Volt a lot more than the Tesla, just because they hand feel almost exclusively. Those last shots don't mean anything. Subscribe, please. 55K, double the giveaway. 60K, you choose my bag for the rest of the year. See you in the next one.